And we're live. Welcome once again to the Beef and Barnzy Show, and we have a special weekend edition for you. And we're coming to you live with 900 Global staffer Sean Rash. He is a three-time Team USA member. He won junior gold in 2001. He was the 2001 Chuck Hall of Tomorrow, a 9-time Team USA member, 2-time collegiate All-American at Wichita State, a 15-time titleist, including 2 majors. He has a USBC Open Championship doubles title with Derek Sapp. He was the epitome of a child prodigy, and we're lucky to have him here with us on this Sunday afternoon. 900 Global staffer Sean Rash.
Well, thanks for the wonderful introduction. Wow.
It's the least I could do for you.
I'm not surprised.
I don't know that it'll be nice to you again for the whole rest of the show, so I think I needed to get off to a good start.
You might not be nice to me for the rest of the year.
I'm trying to build some credit. I also got some catching up to do probably too. So,
wow.
300 games on TV as well. Did you mention that?
Well, he's not the only one to do it, but he's the only one that gets credit for it. So,
no, there's actually 4 people that's actually shot 300 twice. Wes Malott did it twice in the King of Swing. Ryan Schaefer did it once on television during a title event, and then again during the Summer Swing. And this guy that, I don't know. He did it on the arena setting in Vegas. I was a part of that when he did that. And then he did it in Japan, his second event with Global, and then he went on to win that event. And I think he shot 300 against you, didn't he?
Yeah.
So he had a good seat.
You and I. That's good.
Yeah. So you guys are all tied together. It's all one happy family.
Yeah. We're all a family together now.
We are.
Yeah. So what's been going on, Sean? I saw the nice message that your daughter wrote on the driveway with chalk. Yeah,
it was a lot of fun this morning. Right before we jumped on, just told you guys, really nice weather today in the Chicago area. So we made sure to get outside, did some yard work, and just played with the girls in the yard and on the driveway and everything else. But just been staying at home, trying to drive my wife nuts, which did the first week I was home. And still alive and thankful that she does as much as she does, because you guys can attest to this as well. I don't know how our wives do when we're on the road. Taking care of the kids, the school, the house, the bills, you name it. God bless our wives.
That's
getting some people checking in here. One of your personal favorites, she's here. So
she's definitely the best of the 2 there.
Yeah, she's everybody's favorite in our house. That's not new. That's very really old news.
And then Troy, and then Ryan, or then Ryan, then Troy, then.
Yeah, I'm about 6 by the time you add in animals, so that's about right. Hey, well, let's get things started. You started off in Anchorage, Alaska. How did you get started up in the real frozen tundra?
Yeah, so growing up in Alaska, not a lot of sports to play, right? You played baseball for about 2 months. You played football for 6 or 7. I was not much of an ice skater, so something that Mom and Dad did as a recreational activity and became a family hobby activity, and just started bowling as much as possible. Mom and Dad bowled Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday nights, and I'd want to go with them. So I would practice before or afterwards, and then Dad and I started bowling a junior adult league on Sunday too. So I was in a bowling center 6-7 nights a week throughout my entire high school life.
Yeah, there is for some of our international viewers, maybe you should give them a rundown of quite what the light situation's like in Alaska.
Yeah. Right now it's becoming lighter and lighter every day. During college, when I first started playing golf, all I wanted to do was golf. And I remember going home one summer and I asked my buddy, let's go play. And it was 11:30 at night. And so we got 9 holes in before 1 o'clock in the morning and teed off again about 5:30 the next day. But just amazing temperature, it's not real humid there. So when it's warm, it's warm. It's pretty nice compared to, living in Wichita. When it's warm, it's extremely terrible, like where you guys live there in Dallas and Austin. So, we used to fish when I was a kid. We would go fishing. We would fish all night long. We would leave at 8 or 9 o'clock at night and walk back into the camper about noon the next day and have breakfast and sleep for 7 or 8 hours during the day. So yeah, just amazing. Then during the winter when I would bowl, it was so dark out and gloomy that you didn't want to be outside. I didn't. So I wanted to be inside where there's some light, and enjoyed the game and learned everything about it from about 12 years old to about 17. I could do everything in the bowling center besides run the cash register.
It's pretty cool. I've been coached up on a few questions, and obviously there's been a lot of talk with you about urethane and all that. So, I'm going to give credit where credit's due here. This is your buddy Chris Sloan, who did check in earlier. He wants to know, what's your favorite urethane ball that Belmo throws?
That's a good one. He's got 6 or 7 of them, and he beats our brains in, all 3 of us, and many more with all of them. So anytime he throws one, it's one of those like, okay, here we go. So,
like you say, you were a 2-time All-American. We'll move on from that. You're a 2-time All-American at Wichita State, and we have some other collegiate players in here. Some of them spell better than others, but our buddy AJ jumping in the chat with us. Nice to see him there.
He was a college player, right?
Yeah, he went to college for a minute. He's got a degree from McKendree. And,
the place that got put on the map by the O'Keefes.
Yeah, that's the one.
Well, they started winning because of the O'Keefes.
You what?
They started to win because of the O'Keefes.
Well, there you go. There you have it. I saw you posted today earlier that you had your first 300 ball.
Still have it, yeah.
Little danger zone from in the Wayback Time Machine.
Yeah, the original one. Yeah, 1996. Hard to believe it's been 24 years now. I was 13 years old at the time. I still have my first 800 ball too. I'm sure you've got plenty in the garage of monumental, historic times in your career. I probably have about 10 or 12 of them on the rack, but yeah, just always nice to reminisce the good old days.
I don't have as many as you guys.
Now, you obviously you're at home. Your family's there. Your wife, your daughter Kaylee, Olivia, and you have a third one on the way, right? You have a lot in common. You're just when is your third one due?
Well, we're due July 5th, or Sarah's due July 5th, and hopeful that things have calmed down a little bit at the hospital and everything else. But from what we know right now, it'll be just myself and her in the hospital, and no visitors. Times are completely different than normal. The family won't be able to sit there in the waiting room and wait to see what happens and everything else. So, yeah, we cannot wait for the third little girl to show up.
Somebody's been reading my board. They're giving Barnes a little.
Yeah. We're one half of the crew got to drill up urethane balls, and the other one didn't, and they somehow got lucky and won. That wasn't lucky at that point. It was just pretty much. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. Mikey Tang chipping in here. That's cool. Good to see he got drafted in both mock drafts, so at least he experienced what that's like, as opposed to when the real draft happens. So.
Yeah, I think the real draft's going to be really entertaining whenever it does happen. I would guess it's going to happen over the next month. I'm, listening to what Coley had to say the other day. They're working on some things, so I can't wait to see how the draft goes.
Yeah. Have you been watching our drafts?
I have. I've watched. I'm excited. As a free agent, it's always exciting to know that your name's in the mix, and you just cross your fingers that you'll come off the board at some point.
Yeah, you got an ADP right now, 1.5.
Yeah. First or second, the under over. Yeah, I think it's generally trending to the under, but
yeah, I think
you don't know.
Myself, Ryan Simonelli, Dick Allen, and Frankie are your top 4 picks. And then after that, I think you could throw another left-hander in there based off the 2 new teams are going to need a lefty both. So you got Simonelli, Packy, a couple others that are very usable. And then, you got Brad Miller. Or did Brad get kept?
No,
So,
Brad's a free. He's in the draft.
Yeah, and then you got the Tang brothers, and then can't think of anybody else that should be up there right now.
Oh, if I had my list, I could go through it, but there was a fair few more. Andrew Anderson. I don't know if you mentioned him.
Yeah, Andrew would be another guy that I would say goes in the top 5 or 6.
But beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
As we learned, there was a few. We've had some Belichick drafters so far too, and yeah, I mean, I always find it interesting that everybody says you have to have a left-hander when I think 5 out of the 8 did not have one. So
yeah, absolutely, I actually don't think Flanagan's thing is that bad, to be honest. Depending on who they are, the gel part of it.
Sure helps your team a lot.
Yeah, it would. The one thing, somebody actually sent me a message the other day to where they could draft an all Wichita State team. Myself and Packy, Frankie, who are the other couple, Jake Peters, and there's a few others on that board that could make a list of 5 past Wichita State players, which would be a bad thing.
We got it going here.
Nick Pate is another one.
Okay, yeah.
Pretty far up who didn't get picked. Then we've got AJ Chapman, BJ Moore, Mitch Hoope.
Hoope and Chapman were the other 2. So I would love to bowl with any of those guys. They all have some collegiate national titles. They know what team chemistry is alike. Of course, I would be the old guy in the group, but
yeah. I mean, the real issue is I think Packy's probably the lowest in points out of all those guys. I think all of them are in the top 35, give or take. So it'd be tough for them all to get back around to where you could draft all 5, I think. But
we could get 3 for sure.
Oh, man. Been in here about 3 seconds and already throwing shots. DJ from Plano.
Oh.
Stephanie's husband.
Pretty funny. What about you guys? You guys doing all right?
Yeah, we're doing good. I mean, I talking to Chris, I've only been to Plano once, so I'm doing okay because whenever we go down there, Chris destroys everybody. So we're staying away from Plano. We're giving that the wide berth right now. Gotta lick my wounds and try and figure out what I'm going to do to stay within 100.
740 don't cut it very often.
CJ had about 1560 when we bowled the mixed doubles last time. And that wouldn't have been so bad. That was pretty impressive. But then his wife had 1530 as well. So,
yeah, that's definitely a power couple in our sport that definitely, if they bowled more, Chris was one of the guys when I first went out that everyone wanted to be like a great player and a lot of talent. And then not sure exactly what happened, but still a great bowler for sure in that area.
Yes, Tony, you did read the sign correctly. It's my wife's game each day, and this was her tribute to Sean today. So,
pretty good. That is classic. I actually have a board. I told Sarah I was going to put a board up and try to come up with a couple lines, but I didn't want to mock you guys by any means. And I think what you guys are doing are great. There's a lot of shows out right now. You guys have got some entertaining pieces and people every day that come on, and it's a lot of fun to jump on and watch it a little bit here and there every day.
Well, mocking us is perfectly acceptable. almost expected, actually. So that would have been fine.
I mean, you got to fight back. So, Sean, I was I feel like we should get this out the way. I feel like we've let's just tee it up. Yeah, share screen.
I think you two were on a show once together.
Yeah, once. I don't think that the bowling part of it wasn't really the amusing part, actually. So,
be the 2013 Piper Show.
2011.
11.
It's been a while. We're almost round to our 10-year anniversary, mate. So yeah, let's. It's been a while. I was in a Storm shirt.
You will. Next up, Sean Rash. It appears he and Stewart aren't exactly the best of buddies.
Great bowler. We'll never be friends.
Why that?
Personality clash, maybe. I guess that's probably the best way to put it.
Yeah, Sean, you're up.
Stuart Williams. I think it's Stuart Williams of being a great player in Europe, but had a lot to learn in the United States. And that's not saying that he doesn't have any talent. It's just a matter of when you get to the USA, we just have such a big pool of great players. When you beat Dominic Barrett and Oscar Palermo in a tournament that has 50 people or 150 with multiple re-entries, it's still a win. And you can never take a win from someone, but it's a different win.
Rash on the left.
Spoiler alert, me and Dom and Oscar all beat Sean that week.
That was your first win.
It was.
Ah.
Hard to get to 2, but, you know.
And obviously, we do want to talk about, you had such a great start. And before you talk about that, we're going to have a little contest here.
Okay.
For a Beef and Barnzy shirt that's coming out very soon. So, Sean, how many did you win in a row to start with on your career?
Games
That's
or
not gonna be a question.
Well, get games, titles, whichever.
Yeah, you won, I don't know, 7 or 8 TV matches in a row to start off your career, I think it was. So
Yeah.
the question's going to be, who ended your national TV winning streak? And we'll take the comments over here on the side, and then and we'll pick one kind of randomly from that of who broke your nationally televised winning streak on TV. So
I know who it was.
you what?
I know who it is.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
But
There's a lot of money, too.
We'll
in the comments here, those of you can you can look it up. This one's going to be a little tricky, but yeah, this one was. Let's see, you won your first 4 times on TV. Is that right?
Yeah, first 4 titles, so 8 matches, and then
this one was a couple of years after that. That run went from 2005,
6 to 2007, 8. Yeah.
And so, I mean, it was an amazing run. I mean, Tommy, he didn't start. He lost the first 4 or 5 matches, and then he went on that amazing run where he won 10 titles in 2.5 years. But no one, I guess, since Branham had started off on TV with as many wins in a row as you. What do you think? You know, you start out that way, and then it went the other way for a while. I mean, I feel like that happens to everybody that makes a lot of shows. But what changed for you from those first 4 TV shows to what happened after that? Was there anything specific?
Yeah, there's a couple things that come to mind. I think the first 4 shows, you know, being young and dumb and just energetic, just enjoying it, playing it to the crowd, you know, trying to put on a show. And then after that, my first loss on the PBA tour was during a major in Wichita, Kansas. And the amount of pressure and everything else, I was trying to win the tournament before it was actually over instead of just bowling. And I've watched that show so many times since then. I feel like to this day, I bowled a better game than my opponent did. You know, a 7-10 did me in, and a solid 9 really kind of – the 7-10 in the middle of the game just killed the momentum where I could have just stepped on my opponent's throat. So the Balkathon at the World Championship is
Yeah, that's what it said, yeah.
for it. So And then, just after that, I was having a lot of foot issues, the anxiety build up, didn't know I had anxiety until then. And having to find a way to take care of the anxiety is really tough. So, and like you said, I think every great player in our sport has gone through that in their runs. I think of you, I think of Norm, I think of Belmo, I think of Tommy, Mika, Patrick Allen, these guys that, you win a game on television, but you don't win the title. You can go many, many shows without winning. And people just forget that just getting to the show is a win itself. And then
It pays the bills for sure.
yeah, it definitely pays the bills.
Yeah, Walter went 4 years without, or I want to say 3.5 years without winning, and it wasn't because he wasn't making a lot of shows.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of streaks over the years, but
yeah, no, that's definitely for sure. Talking about Stu there with his second title, 9 years after his first, Norm or Amleto was the same way. They won their first one, and it took them 7 or 8 years to get to their second. It's just part of our sport. It's hard to win when you get to the made-for TV type event.
was there something mentally that changed at the beginning? Was it expectations that changed for you, or was it a general? Were you trying to be more liked, or what was going on there?
I think in the middle of that run, I was trying to do too much. I was trying to be on the USBC board. Got into the political game a little bit, started to do some camps. A lot of things were changing at the time at Brunswick with leadership. At my time at Brunswick, I probably had 7 or 8 different bosses. Mm-hmm. A lot of different philosophies, of course, through that. If you have a marketing boss, then as a player, you're happy because they're spending money. If you got a guy that's a penny pincher, so they say, and counts all the dollars and cents and doesn't want to spend a lot of money on marketing, you better do the right things and, go to the right places and do every appearance that you're asked to do. So a lot of things were going on in that stretch. We went through a couple of different ball reps at that time as well. We started with Rick Benoit when I first started on tour, which is anybody would say one of the best ball reps our sport's ever seen. I think both of you could attest to that. You both have worked with him on and off through the years. And then we had Chuck there, and the transition from Rick to Chuck wasn't easy. I made it as easy as possible, where some players didn't. We were a smaller staff as well, so that was easy to do. And we never became a big staff. Brunswick dominated in the 90s, with the bigger staff and multiple players or ball reps, so to say, helping coach. And then over my last couple of years, we barely had much help on tour. Even during the summer swing events, they just weren't politically right. They weren't used for marketing or were considered important type events. I think we all struggle with the extra frame flow bowling events where they're 2 or 3 days, where they're 1 day shorter really than national events. But we bowl about the same amount of games in a shorter period. And I think they're more stressful or harder to win than some of the other events that we bowl.
Yeah, I mean, you had a lot of success over the summer for sure. I mean, you were on fire. I think you played 3 times for the title in that summer swing type deal across the 4 or 5 events we had.
Yep. No, I love the formats. I love the short sprints, and especially I love match play type events. I love being able to follow my own transition. I think the guys that have figured out, like Chris and Belmo and some of the greats of all time, when they can run the whole format through the whole week, those are the ones that really are so much fun to win. Leading the U.S. Open or World Championships, those are the ones that you go, wow, I've done it. But to be able to do that week in and week out, like Chris and Norm and Belmo and Walter and Parker, you've got to the top of our game for sure.
So just quickly, going back to that U.S. Open, I always watch, I like to watch the TV shows in general, but I feel like the U.S. Open is always one of those that I always feel most sorry for the top seed, unless they're left-handed, because I never feel sorry for lefties. But in general, because it's like you bowl all week on about a zillion different patterns, it feels like, even if we bowl on the same pattern every time, because of how quickly, different, like if it's round robin or if it's the 2 on a pair or if it's the qualifying with 500 guys or 100 guys. Or anyway, you get to the TV show and then you're left with what you were left with for that final against Frankie. Talk us through a little bit about what went through your mind, except, oh shit, when you threw your first couple of practice shots on that lane.
That was pretty much what I said when I watched the first shot of Bill O'Neill's practice before he bowled his first game. Just, as the top seed, you're always kind of wondering where guys are going to play, and you're just like, what the hell happened? Like, this is nothing that we've seen all week, and especially with no practice balls, right? They got whoever was the first match. It was Bill and Simonson, I think, right? And then the winner bowled Belmo, then they bowled Frankie, then me. Yeah. So, they both threw their first 3 shots and their ball hooked a boatload. And I would say the oh shit is definitely a perfect 2 words to use. And then to throw my practice balls, I thought about this match multiple times. I probably should have went back right and just rolled the piss out of it with a really strong bowling ball, kind of like what Belmo did at the end of his match with urethane. Here we are with urethane again, but I think if Belmo doesn't split the second time around, he went split, strike, split. If he throws that double, I think Belmo wins the U.S. Open that day. Just because of how good he is with urethane, I think he was starting to get comfortable. Scores were going to be low. And then, my match against Frankie, he just threw a Hail Mary 5-bagger. You throw spares in there anywhere, and that game's 180 to 180. And it could have been 140 to 150 real simply, right? So, hats off to Frankie finding a way to throw a 5-bagger.
Yeah, it looked like he was bowling on a freshly oiled lane. That's when you realize how low Frankie can get his rev rate and still make it strike. It was incredible. His ball was just like I would have been
better off throwing BBs at the head pin. Probably caught a double or a 3-bagger and maybe bowled 190. But, definitely one of the best weeks of my life. It was the first – I've made plenty of cuts at the U.S. Open. I actually led the U.S. Open my rookie year with 6 or 7 games to go, and then fell into the low bay in Cavalier and got my face ran over and went sliding down the rankings. But just to make the show was a huge win. And then, to be leading and I only had 1 game to bowl for the title, hopefully I'll be able to do it again. Only so many years left, right? Starting to get a little older, and these guys are getting better and better with what we're bowling on. So, but yeah, again, hats off to Frankie. He bowled a phenomenal game against me with what we bowled on. After game 1, everybody that was on the other side said 180, 190 wins the title, and they were right because that was more than what I had.
Well, there you go. That's a stamp of approval there.
We've made it.
Rob Pierce. How's he not doing a show right now? Doesn't he always have someone to talk to?
If Sweep the Rack's listening, we've made it.
There we go.
So just to quickly, I'm going to plug a couple of podcasts that I've listened to recently. Sweep the Rack is excellent. They have some definitely found some interesting guests in the last couple of weeks. They had my old roommate PA on. I think they must have gone by carrier pigeon to get a note to him. And then Tony Franklin, he is doing his own podcast for the Bowl TV, but it's now it's on Facebook. It's called Out of Range, and anybody who's ever met Tony, he has a very unique sense of humor. So you should check that out as well. They do some fun stuff. Maybe not quite as serious, but definitely they ask some questions that other people probably won't be asking. So you should check both of those out.
Inside Bowling starting one there, or they have started one. Mike Flanagan and Homeless Ed, Matt Farber are doing that one. And I believe the Shafani show is starting up as well. So
yeah, there's a lot of
Morning Bolt and then the tech sessions with Hank Boomershine.
Yeah, a lot of great information going on right now, right? During this downtime. It's one of those, I would like to be involved more too, but man, you guys kind of stole the show with having big hitters on every week. You got some other guys that are great already at what they like and what they do. So it's fun just to kind of chime in and do some interviews once every couple of weeks or whenever you're asked to, and keep being told, "Oh, we'll have you next week." So, or next week or next week. So
I feel like you're starting to jab at us there, Chris.
Yeah, well,
We put it back a couple of times.
yeah. So, welcome to the Outkick Your Coverage Club.
yeah, I'm really good at that.
Yeah. How did you trick Sarah?
How did I trick Sarah? That's a great question. I met Sarah in April of 2000. Let me get these numbers right. 2006, at the Intercollegiate Championships in Rockford, Illinois. Met her at the during the break. It was actually April 20th, I believe, 20th or 21st. But a mutual friend of all of ours, Jesse Buss, his wife Courtney, was going to school with Sarah at Western, and just remember watching Sarah, keep score and bowl during the day. I was there as a representative for multiple companies. Just kind of hit it off. Danced with her a little bit there that night during the awards party, and and then didn't really speak to her for a couple months. And then next thing I knew, we spoke through AOL Instant Messenger mostly. Back then you had to pay for long distance phone calls and whatnot. So, I invited her down to Houston for the Lucy Bonneau. She came down to that, and then we drove there to Mr. and Mrs. Barnes' house, and then drove to Wichita and had some friends over for a party, and then she flew home, and basically that's history. So I've got zero game on the lane, off the lanes. Trust me.
Yeah, I feel like the Barnes house isn't really doing it justice.
No, it hurt more than anything because she only knew two people when she flew to Houston. She knew who Linda was, Carolyn. She might have knew who Chris was too, but she had no idea what she was getting into flying to Houston that weekend.
And as they say, the rest is history.
There we go.
Yeah, I've been very fortunate, very lucky. She moved to Wichita after she graduated. I'll let her say what it was. That'll steal any woman's heart in college, right?
All the wives are chipping in now.
Yeah.
Linda thinks that's the moment when you taught Troy to walk.
That might have been it. There was Chris, MySpace, perfect. I remember MySpace.
Yeah, Linda, she's put so many couples together between college and ex-roommates and all kinds of stuff. She is the ultimate dating site back before there were dating sites. So.
Well, listen, I watched you guys' show the other day with Coley, and I sent her a message after you guys gave me the nice jab at the end, both of you two and her.
Yeah, I was about to say, mainly her. I wasn't involved.
Yeah, I didn't know how this would go today. I'm fortunate nothing has come off the top rope yet. I'm sure we got a few minutes left, but it was pretty funny and pretty entertaining, and I can't wait to I think like you guys can't get back on the lanes and see what the PBA has in store for us.
You got anything else to tee up?
Yeah. I just I guess some of the younger generation might not realize that back in the day you could actually hook it.
Ah, yeah.
I've got here the picture isn't great, but here we go. We got the Masters when it was in Milwaukee in the stadium, I believe.
First major. I got a lot of grief for this. So after I had won this event, I gave my dad a hug and forgot to give my wife a hug and kiss. At the time, she was just my girlfriend, but everyone said I completely ignored her.
Yeah, you were. You were. I thought you were saying that you got a bit of grief because you threw it all over the place and they all came back.
Oh, you could throw it.
Yeah, this was a pretty impressive. Did you run the ladder on this? Is that how it went down?
No, I was actually the top seed for this.
Oh, you were the top seed. Okay.
Yeah. Steve ran the ladder, bowled 803 or 813 for 3 games. Bowled phenomenal. He bowled so good. And I got away with a Brooklyn in the 4th. That just was awful. But he bowled great. You know, it could have gone either way. The
great and the good of Team USA there on the front row. There's your dad.
Yeah, that was the inaugural Dream Team year of 2008, Team USA, where they put all the pros on the team and pretty much told a few of us that we were never good enough to be on the team, and that 8 guys were already going to bowl no matter what for the next 6 or 7 years. Yeah, that was a fun week.
Well, yeah, let's just watch one more. Watch you grip it and rip it. And I really brought this up for wow, they had some interesting camera angles, didn't they? I really brought that up more for how do you think over the past, say that was 13 years ago, what's your mentality of how you were bowling the lanes changed to keep yourself relevant? Because obviously, as you go from being one of the higher rev rates on tour to now being not low for sure, but you're definitely you're probably the high of the middle, so to speak. How is that? What have you done to keep up with the trends?
Well, I mean, over the last couple of years, my rev rate has stayed the same. My min, max, and regulars identical, right? So I take advantage of when I can play straighter. I love playing the gutter. It's funny that these kids say that I can't hook it much anymore, but during the summer, a couple of those events, I had to hook it, and I led. North Carolina was, we were playing 5th, 6th arrow. The next one, the next couple, we were playing towards the gutter, but we were throwing it at the gutter. So I kind of consider that hooking it a little bit, right? Sliding 20 to 25.
Well, I really mean, though, is you have to do it in a different way now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. No, just being smarter. A lot of guys think that my spare game is awful. And I know I've missed some spares on television. I probably will continue to miss spares on television, just like all of us have. But you got to be a pretty good spare shooter to get there at some point. I watched the clip that you guys had with Norm, and Norm said it best. The best players in the world for years have always had a good spare game. And I think of the guys that came out when I started, Bill O'Neill, Rhino Page, Fagan, Belma was a year or 2 years later. How many other guys in those generations have come out and has won as much as Bill and I have? I think Fagan would have a few more titles if he was still on tour. It's because of being grounded, taking advantage of the weeks they've got it, being good spare shooters, the lowering the rev rate, understanding what your balls can and can't do. I've been trapped with certain philosophies in my mind for a long time. So now things are changing since January, and working with Chris and some different people, other tour reps, having some different ideas of what's going on. It's been awesome.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I feel like one of your biggest keys there was actually shown in your answer. Man, you can find a chip on your shoulder. It's awesome. I really don't hear many people say that you're a bad spare shooter. I guess you have your ear to the ground way better than most people. Like for me, you don't even enter the debate. Like, I'm not saying you Norm Duke. Don't get me wrong.
Oh no.
But at the same time, I mean,
there was a little stretch early on tour where it wasn't as good as it is now.
Oh yeah. Totally.
And you held on to it, but
I mean, you're not Jesper circa 2015.
No. No, sir.
I mean, now there's a guy who's really improved his spare shooting.
Yeah, for sure.
Was like Jesper doesn't miss very often at all now, and he had no problem shooting 246 with 2.9 misses.
He was pretty good with that. Yeah, every time Jesper left a 7-pin, it was towards the end of the match. You always thought,
yeah,
chance.
Yeah, but he's been actually really good for the last few years. It's
Hey, Sean, lots of things have changed. When it got towards the end of the match and you're on TV, you thought you had a chance with Chris. That seems to have changed too. Things change all the time.
Yeah,
lots of things change. Hey, wait a minute! Groundbreaking news. There we go.
yeah, that's shocking, right? No, so going back to that clip you played, I remember I was thinking about this the other day. I was like, man, I bet Stu's gonna ask me about what I said about him when he came out on tour, and I think
I don't think that it was necessarily unfair. I think
No.
the funny part of it was what you said wasn't really what you wanted to say. You just couldn't. You were just afraid of really saying it, and that was fine.
I just remember, like, I love Timmy Mack like you guys do, and I always gave Timmy a hard time like the rest of us about until you went on the PBA tour, you never really get the credit you deserve. And I was doing an interview the other day about somebody asked who's the best players overseas that could bowl on the PBA tour, and I said there's plenty of players, but until they win on the PBA tour, you just have a different mindset, I think, and it was just a matter of time until you would win or Dom or Osku. I think there's some players in Asia that really could win pretty quickly. I think especially in South Korea, some guys definitely have some game. But, Timmy, we all love Timmy and know how much he's won around the world. They never talk about him because he never won on the PBA tour.
To be fair, though, I think that's more of a territorial thing. Because, for example, I think that you're always going to be more defensive of the area that you were in. Like, Andrew Anderson was Player of the year he was Player of the Year, right? And he bowled great, and he bowled fantastic. But the 2 times he went out of the country, he missed the cut.
Yep.
So that gave all of I'll just say me, but a bunch of the other world players, that gave us pause because we're like, yeah, that's great. We're in the environment that you feel comfortable. You're bowling great. But now you're in our environment and you're doing things that we haven't done in me and Martin have bowled around the world and we haven't missed a cut in 10 years. And this guy's come out, he's Player of the Year and he's missed 2 in a row. I mean, so it's just that's what I'm saying about the PBA tour. You have that thought. I mean, a lot of
the environment you're in and the formats that you bowl. I totally agree with you.
So it's just different.
Oh my God.
Yeah, my wife took one look at you with the beard and said, "Oh, he's such a handsome man. Why would he mess that up with the beard?"
That's
I'm gonna kiss his baby and hold his child with that tiny prickly beard.
Yeah, no, like I said, I think that interview that I did, reading what Linda just wrote there, I speak honestly, I speak from the heart. I'm not real good at putting words together when I'm just firing away and going. I think the ones that know me know that and get me, understand it, and respect me for who I am, the way I speak. And the ones that don't, at the end of the day, I could give a shit less about them. It's one of those, sorry, I'm trying to do whatever I can to help grow the game on and off the lanes, with the clinics that I do all over the world, incorporating other companies and other players, young to old. And, at one day, I hope that's what people recognize myself for is, I gave back and I had some bumps along the road and I've learned from them, multiple times. You go through those stretches where you kind of feel like you're in a hole and you find a way to reach out to grab some help from someone, whether it's your family or someone on tour. There's a couple guys on tour that I think I could call any day and say, hey, look, I'm in a jam, I need some help. And that would be Parker and Chris, and there's a couple others. And, they get me for who I am. And the ones that, they see us on television and that's all they see. They don't see all the stuff we do in the background. I got a big heart. I break down in tears a lot, because of family and everything else, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I just think but on a serious note, I think at that point, I think that both me and you had no issue with that thing, but a bunch of people would talk to us about it.
Oh yeah.
And I think that we're quite similar in that way. We didn't get on very well, but we had no problem with that.
Not at all. I mean,
I don't care. We're bowled against each other. It doesn't matter. and that's the thing I always I did respect about you is you didn't care and neither did I, and we're moving on with it. In life, there are going to be some people you get on with and there's some people you don't, and at that point, we didn't really get on with each other, and we were okay with that. It was everybody else who seemed to want everybody to be friends. Same when a bowl against Tommy.
Yeah.
Tommy say some things to each other that other people would probably get a little upset about, but we kind of understand the rules and we just move along with it.
Yeah, people want rivalries, and you're a catalyst type of person that people like to, they like to have an opinion about. And I think that's one of the best things you can be as a bowler, is someone, any in sports, that they want to, whether they want you to win or lose, if they're watching, then that's what Pete has made it on. And people have even switched sides over the years, but they always they have an opinion when you bowl, when he bowls, and when certain guys bowl, they certainly want to see what the outcome is, and that's great. That's great for the sport.
Yeah, I think the best one really was when I said, "Who's your hometown fan now?" against Danny for my second title. It had no offense to Danny Wiseman at all, and even when I gave him the hug after we finished bowling that game, I was like, "Man, I'm really trying to get your fans on my side. I'm going to need it." And he laughed. He goes, "Absolutely, because you're getting ready to bowl Parker Bowen, one of the best of all time, and a good friend too." So the way the media took that one. Wow. I got drilled for it.
So Tina has a cool question for you. For people who don't know, my wife works for Make-A-Wish. She said, how did it make you feel when a child picked you for their wish when they could have almost anything in the world?
Yeah, so those are one of the things that touch me more than anything, Stu. I've actually done 2 or 3 of them. I've done one in Vegas with Ben. I did another one out here towards where I live in Illinois. I've got a buddy, Dan, that wasn't even with the Make-A-Wish, but just with best buddies that we met in Vegas during the year of the World Series in 2011, and we see each other every time I go out there. Those are the moments that you go, wow, I'm a role model to so many people, and you go, yeah, you got to sit back and go, this is just a game. We play a sport for a living. We have an opportunity to make someone happy and smile, and you don't know what's on the other side for this young man or female. And I stay in touch with all of them. Benjamin, we talk on Facebook all the time, and Dan and his family. It's just so much fun to see these guys, these young adults smile. I can't tell you how much it means to me when you go, when Janae would say, hey, look, we have somebody who wants to do a Make-A-Wish with you. What do you think? I'm like, me? Like me? Like, why not Parker Bowen or Chris Barnes or Pete Weber or Norm Duke or
a trip to Disneyland?
Yeah.
I mean, it's awesome, and I can't even begin to imagine. But at the same time, I do think sometimes about those poor kids' parents. They're like, couldn't have wished for that trip to Hawaii. Seriously?
Yeah.
Sean Rash, Jason Armani, that was your answer? We could have just done a bowling tournament. I'm sure they'd have said hello.
You are 100% correct. I think that changes a little bit coming up, right, with everything that's going on, the pro-ams and how we're going to do pictures and autographs. But end of the day, watching these kids, how old they are, I just can't wait to see them, live life to the fullest.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting when we get back on the lanes about what's going to be the new normal. That's for sure. But we'll no doubt move on. Do you have anything else, Chris?
I really don't. There was, you had a lot of success this year. You had a great start after a long time with a different company. Came over to our global brand and won the second tournament out.
Following your footsteps again. Here we go.
Yeah, I don't know about that. There was a question that was asked: is if Giorgio might have sent this himself, but if Giorgio isn't there to ball rep you, do you just book an early flight home? I think that was. Giorgio's from the office. He's a Weber International player, and he's been helping out on tour. As it happened, he was out a couple of weeks, and Sean had a lot of success those weeks when he was there.
Yeah, when my buddy Carlos was in the back, man, I bowled good. But no, what a fun week Oklahoma was. I've had a lot of success in Oklahoma. I've won there 3 times. My ball likes to strike there, which is awesome. So I remember when I made the cut, I called Wes and said, hey, any chance that one of these guys could stick around another day or two? And he said, yeah, Giorgio can stay. And then we got the match play, and I'm like, does he really have to leave? Like, I think I have a chance. And he's like, no, he can stay. Why not? And then I made the show, and I'm like, all right, is he going to stay again? He goes, yeah, we're all coming. I'm like, oh, my God. So like I said, what a fun week winning the second week there with Global and then making a show again a couple weeks later to TSC.
So let's get the trivia answer out the way. I think I've got the right answer highlighted here. So, Sean, who was it who brought your run to an end?
Well, my run on television came to an end against PWBA and USBC Hall of Famer, one of the best that ever played the game. Probably should still be bowling. She makes more money than her husband does. Her name is Linda Barnes.
So, Tyler, you were first up. So I think it's only fair that you should win. Send us a message on the Facebook account, and we will endeavor to get you a shirt on the way. One thing, look at this.
That was a lot of fun. That show, made for TV show for USBC. They invited all the the Masters champions, Queens, Junior Gold, U.S. Open. Interesting, a knockout type format, and then a game to win. I beat Adam Martinez or Eric Martinez, I think. Linda beat Liz, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
I think that's right. Yeah.
Chris can only remember what he spent the money on.
I remember those 9th and 10th frames. I can tell you that.
Yeah, they were bad.
You threw 3 in the 10th, and you scouted. You threw a bird dog out in front of the 10 pin. So,
yeah. Thanks for reminding me. Now, so that was
I have that to remind me every once in a while too. So,
yeah, at least she won that event.
What's that?
You didn't win that one, right?
Oh no, the next year they sent a real man to cover your job. I won it the next year.
Right.
Come on, Sean, you're setting him up here.
Yeah, that was easy.
Day.
Too funny. Tom Clark chiming in. I beat 10 Pfeiffer.
You beat Pfeiffer to get there?
I honestly don't remember. I thought I beat Martinez, but
I might have beat Pfeiffer the next year. I don't remember.
You beat Pfeiffer. I beat the kid that threw the backup ball.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah.
Don't want a piece of him down in South Texas.
No.
No, sir.
No.
All right, then. Let's get Sean's 10 frames in.
Let's get him in. Yeah, we did see you do bowl on the sidewalk. That was pretty cool. Nice little math. Made your girls keep score. I thought that was a cool family moment. That equaled the normal amount of practice that you had probably had in this space anyway. So that worked out good.
That's funny. It's true.
We talked about your wife earlier. We're going to do 10 frames with Sean Rash. So let's get it started. We talked about Sarah earlier. Where was your first kiss with your wife?
Down.
Your soon-to-be wife or future wife.
Trying to get me divorced? First,
no, yeah. Don't talk about your any first kiss. That's not what we're talking about here.
My first kiss with my wife Sarah was in Dallas, Texas.
I believe it. Yeah, if I remember right, my wife reminded me of this. I think that was actually at our house. So maybe not, but close enough. Let's see. Most rebellious thing you ever did as a teenager?
Oh. I was a pretty good teenager. I had a brother that wasn't the best at following directions and staying home. So I stayed home. I didn't talk back very much. I did my chores. the worst thing I probably ever did was just stay out too late at the bowling center, and basically had mom and dad drag me out of it and say, "Hey, time to go home." Used to have a curfew. If I wasn't home by 10 o'clock on Friday night, I couldn't bowl league Saturday morning.
By when?
10 o'clock.
Oh, 10. Well, that's not so bad. All right. You're pretty straight-laced. Anchorage, I mean,
Not a whole lot to do.
you know, late nights get cut short by the negative 20 degrees. So where do you keep your best trophy?
My best trophy is actually in our spare bedroom downstairs.
Oh, prominently displayed. All right.
Yeah. Well, with a third child on the way and trying to get the bedroom upstairs together and everything else, I feel like I could use a bigger house. So if I could get some money, I could expand, and things would, I could, have a proper trophy case.
So what I'm hearing here is you need more weeks with Giorgio.
That's right. You did a nice job of increasing your bank account. You're 1.5 million in earnings. You've done okay. So
yeah, I'm very, very fortunate.
What's your guilty pleasure?
Ooh. Guilty pleasure. Well, when my wife's pregnant, it's ice cream. I'm a huge sweets guy when my wife is pregnant. I'm not a big guy when we're just, about, but currently it is chocolate and ice cream and anything sweet.
Let's see. Dumbest way you've ever hurt yourself?
Probably by bowling without taking the shoe cover off.
We've all seen one of those too. What happened? You end up on sprawled out everywhere?
Yeah, you just fall. I mean, I've done it more than once, so that's why it's the dumbest thing I've ever done. Pretty much.
Funny story. Somebody at Wayne's place where the approach was a little slippy. It was the second shot where they actually fell over, and they come back and they go, "Do you know what's sad about that? That's the second shot I bowled with it on."
One thing you've tried that you'll never try again?
Oh, it's definitely probably kimchi.
Ooh. I second that.
Which is weird that you would say that because you're a guy that eats everything, and I am a very picky eater.
Yeah, kimchi doesn't make the list.
I have the scale on pro bowling of Mika at this end and Tommy Jones at this end.
Yeah.
I'm on the end towards Tommy.
Yeah, Mika does eat just about everything. Craziest rumor you ever heard about yourself?
Craziest rumor I ever heard about myself. Well, it kind of came true that I was going to be let go from Brunswick.
Well, that's not a crazy rumor at all.
Well, it was 3 years ago when the rumor started.
Oh.
Seemed crazy at the time.
It's all relative, isn't it? Yeah. Let's see. My spouse, finish the sentence. My spouse gives the best
Advice.
That will keep you married for a lot longer. See? And some people say you don't say the right thing. Look at you. Learning all the time.
I think she's still listening to this, so that's why I'm trying to be.
It's going to be on replay. Always a good idea to answer that.
Hey, let's go with the most famous person in your phone book.
Oh.
That's a good one.
Sean's big time, so this could be quite.
Yeah, this could be really good.
Oh, man. What'd you say, Jerome?
No, Trump.
Trump.
Wow. I would say the most famous person in my phone book, considering he's still one of the best in Major League Baseball would be Mookie Betts.
Oh.
I mean, I do have a few others, but
Let's go. Let's hear one. Come on.
well, I mean, Chris, C.J. Anderson used to play for the Broncos. Jerome Bettis, Woody Austin. Yeah, there's a couple more, but like you're just lucky to interact with them. You know, when we get to see them at some special events, and you know, every now and then they'll reach out just saying, "Hey, I took the family bowling," or you know, we saw you on television, you know, bowling. It's amazing how much our sport gets played by other professional athletes.
Your wife coming in off the top rope. Well played, Sarah.
I know where I'm sleeping tonight.
With the trophy.
All right. What do you do to make your kids laugh? What works every time?
Man, that's a good one. There's a couple things that come to mind with Kaylee, and because they're completely different kids, right? One's 5 years older than the other.
Okay, so reenact both.
Yeah, no, I'm not an actor by any means. So Kaylee likes when we do the tickle monster thing and just jump on the back and play around, horsing around. She loves to work out with me. Every now and then in the morning, we'll do some cardio stuff. And then
Same weights?
Huh?
Same weights?
Yeah, same weights.
All right.
3-pound dumbbells. Olivia is more. She laughs more when Kaylee's laughing as well. Like it's so fun to watch her just smile, and when they cuddle on the couch and actually love each other.
All right, we'll finish up here with the 10th frame, and the 10th frame is one shot in your career that you'd like to have back.
Well, it's happened twice on the same title event, almost in the same frame. But it would be the 7-10 that I left in the World Championships against Norm, and the 7-10 I left in the final 3 against Stu and Oscu when that week, I think both of you guys made the top 16 where we did the pods.
Mm-hmm.
Win your pod just to get to the final 4 show. But those 2 shots drastically changed, titles and opportunities for me to win major titles. Uh-oh.
Oh boy.
All right, well, that concludes 10 frames with Sean Rash. I appreciate it. Almost no one has a hard time coming up with one shot. It's sometimes narrowing it down to one shot, but yeah.
I mean, it's one shot. I left a 7-10 and just left it twice in the same friggin' tournament.
No, but I mean, Dom said, I don't think like that. He's the only person. Everybody else is just like, bang, it's this one.
Yeah.
Like Norm remembered a shot from like 1988 like it was yesterday.
Yeah. I remember the chop 6-10 against Dom when he won his world championship. If I don't chop the 6-10 early on, change the way the game plays out. Yeah, I can remember plenty.
Those 7-10s, the ones that are right there. Well Sean,
I left 7-10s in the summer last year that cost me 2 titles, one against Tommy and one against BJ Moore. Or at least would have changed the momentum of the game.
Tommy keeping it on the lane might have changed the momentum of the game as well. He did try his best in that one.
Yeah. Well, we all did last year in the summer. We all threw it in the gutter.
Yeah.
We're just referring to those as sterners now. So, or no, I mean, sorry, pates now.
Yeah,
So,
they're called pates.
yeah, they're fish pates. So,
well, thanks again, Sean, for coming on. The hour has flown by. We have Diana. I apologize, Diana. We have Diana and Verity on tomorrow, back on our regular time, 3 p.m. Central. So for everybody out there, thanks for tuning in. Chris, are you going to do our summation?
yeah, we'll chop it up here, and I appreciate everyone else coming on today, and thank you to our sponsors, Rotogrip, Global, Storm, Turbo, Vice Grips, Cool Wick, Logo Infusion, 3G Shoes, Dexter Shoes, and a shoe manufacturer to be named later. I think we covered about everybody. I want to thank you for joining us again on a special Sunday edition with Sean Rash, and join us again tomorrow at 2 on the Beef and Barnzy page. But for those of you out there, have a great weekend. Stay safe, stay healthy. God bless.
Yeah, guys, thanks for having me on. You guys are doing great things. Hope to see you on the lane soon. Next time you ask me to be on, I'm sure it'll be 6 months later instead of 3 weeks. So stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you guys. Tell the wives hello.